And as soon as someone hears it, someone from the young generation is going to hear it, they're going to be like,
One night in a disco on the outskirts of Frisco, I was cruising with my favorite gang. The place was so boring, filled with out-of-towners touring. I knew that it wasn't my thing. I really wasn't caring, but I felt my eyes staring at a guy who stuck out in the crowd. He had the kind of body that would shame Adonis, and a face that would make any man proud. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! The champion of dance, his moves will put you in a trance, and he never leaves the disco alone. Arrogance but not conceit. As a man, he's complete. My creme de la creme. Please take me home. He wears the finest clothes, the best designers, heaven knows. Ooh, from his head down to his toes. Halston, Gucci, Fiorucci. He looks like a steal. That man is dressed to kill. Oh, what wow! He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. I've ever seen. He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! Ooh, 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 wow! Oh, what wow! Yeah. He's the greatest dancer. Oh, what wow! That I've ever seen. I love the move.
Hi, everybody. It is Thursday, July 13th, 2017, and that was Sister Sledge. He's the Greatest Dancer selection by our co-host here, Jason Joy.
That's right. I did not choose any hip-hop this time.
I can't believe it.
Even though I was very torn. I actually wanted you to play Kendrick Lamar, but I was like, you know what? I want us to play the last song that I heard when I was in my car.
Which was that song. That is the gayest song ever.
I know. See, but here's the thing. It happened to be in my Apple Music.
Yeah.
For like my recommendations, because I was listening to Prince earlier. So I guess, since in that era with that Sister Sledge, Prince,
all those people.
It all just kind of, it was like, oh, if you like Prince, you'll like this. And it just kind of started playing that.
Well, that's a great group, by the way, from the 70s. And I love that. I love disco music and 70s music. I mean, it's fantastic. I love it. So I always love anything from that era. So good choice. Good choice. By the way, everybody, thanks for listening. If you're listening to our show for the first time or the last time, we appreciate it.
Hopefully it's not the last time.
Hopefully not.
For the first time.
But you never know. You never know. If you want to find out more about us, you can go to GAYXYZ.com. You can also, if you like, to call in. The number is 214-377-0481. You can also Skype in for free if you want to talk to us live during the show, which we record the show live. It's live right now, like right this second, right now. If you're listening right now, you're hearing the show live right now.
Yes, in real time.
Yes. So if you want to call in, you can call in by using Skype, by Skyping Off Limits Show. Or you can tweet us at GAYXYZ Show, or you can find us on Facebook as well. So be free to actually follow us on all these places and let us know what you think. If you like us, if you don't like us, we don't care. We want to hear from you. Okay, so thanks. Anyway, so what's going on with you, Jason? Anything to report before we dig into our topics this week?
I'm a little annoyed with Amazon.
Why is that?
And I like Amazon a lot, but for the past two things,
hello,
they've been marked as delivered. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for the past two times I've ordered things on Amazon, they've been marked as delivered, but when I get home,
they're not there. Yeah.
So I called customer service, and this time, for the past two times, I specifically leave notes to say leave at the door, because I live for those of you don't know, I live in an apartment complex. So most of the time they try to deliver them at the leasing office, and the leasing office is like 10 miles away. Not really, but it feels that way. So I'm like, just leave it at the door, that type of thing. So I put notes in there for them to leave at the door. They still didn't leave it at the door. So, and now the leasing office is closed because it's late. So
what is it like? What is it like a dildo or something? What do you need so badly?
No, it's a Fitbit watch.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, I bought something. Yes, I bought something like that. No, it's no dildo. It's no DVD. It's no, cult magazine. Nothing like that.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to wait till the leasing office opens tomorrow, and then if they don't, I'm going to call customer service back and be like, okay, so the leasing office has it, so I need a refund. But I think
what do you want a refund? What do you want a refund for? If the leasing office has it, all you have to do is go down there and get it.
No, I said if they don't.
If they don't have it, yeah.
Yeah, because the last time they didn't have it, I had to call customer service and they credited my account.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm going to start doing is I think I'm going to just have to start using the Amazon locker.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand. First of all, I understand anyone who does deliveries over here. I understand that these apartments are extremely confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they're not navigation friendly. I understand that. So I think I might just start doing that. I think the closest.
An Amazon locker is like a thing at like FedEx office or certain places, mailbox places that they'll deliver it there, and it has like a code or something you can get into. Just you,
right? Yeah, and they text you or email you.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can't hear you. You're breaking in and out. Go ahead. They do what now? They text you something.
Yeah, no, but I was saying that.
They text you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying is they email you a code.
Yeah.
Or either they text you a code and use that code and you put it in. It's just like using Netflix almost. But except you put in a code and one of the doors pops open and you get your package and you're on your way.
I think that seems like a more convenient way. At least you know where it is and you know where to go get it instead of having to wait and wonder if it's going to be there or not be there. So I think that's a good idea.
Right.
I mean, I don't have that problem because I live in a house, but I mean, I do. You know, I've had probably, I don't know, one or two. I mean, first of all, I don't know if you know this. I think I've talked about it before, but I am in a support group for Amazon buyers. So I have an Amazon addiction, and I have for many years. So everything I buy, almost everything I buy online is from Amazon. I just buy everything there, and because it gets here the next day or the same day. Even if you want it the same day, you could get the same day for some things.
No, and I mean, I love Amazon. Don't get me wrong. I'm
not bragging on Amazon. I'm not saying you don't like it. I'm trying to make a point. My point is I love Amazon. But my point is that I have had a couple of packages that said they were delivered and they weren't. And I had to, complain, and they refunded my money or whatever. But the majority, I mean, all the package, I get so many packages from Amazon. We're talking like every single day almost of the week. I get packages all the fucking time. And I'd say that's one or two out of probably hundreds that they fucked up. So they do a really good job. I mean, generally speaking, Hello? You're broke. You are dead in the water, dude. I cannot hear you. Hello.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, my connection is great. I don't know what's going on.
It sounds like it's more like an audio thing. I don't think it's a connection in terms of your internet. Maybe it's like your headphones or something. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, not your headphones, your mic. You keep going in and out. But I can hear you clearly fine when you're here. But when you're not here, you're just dead. It's like nothing. You'll hear it when you play the show back. But anyway, but yeah, I love Amazon. They're fantastic. So, yeah, I think that's probably it's probably a good idea that you do that and get your packages. I mean, if I lived in an apartment complex and you had your situation, I probably would do the same thing. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to start doing that from now on.
Because they don't charge anything for that, do they? I don't think they do.
No.
Yeah, I would do that if I were you. But anyway. All right. Well, one of the things we wanted to talk about was since I don't have any topics from you this week,
I know I had a lot going on today, and I literally got here like 10 minutes before the show started.
You're always on CPT, Tom. It's okay, CPT.
No, I'm not always. This is an exception. I end up going to a birthday dinner, and it ended up running later than I thought.
But you knew you had a show to do, and yet you were late.
Yes,
you were late. But you're fine because you actually literally got there. I mean, you actually said, I'm ready literally like a minute before the show was starting. So you were just on time. But anyway, I'm giving you a hard time. But anyway, there's this thing on Queerty about guys discussing their least favorite things about being gay. And I thought that was an interesting thing to discuss because we talk often about, things we love about being gay and things that are great about being gay because we celebrate being gay here because it's a great gay show and we're gay. So gay is good. But,
gay.
Yes, but gay is also just like anything else, being heterosexual, being a man, being a woman, being Christian, being atheist, whatever you are, there's always a downside to everything. So what do you think the downsides are to being gay, or things people ask you or talk to you about that you think is inappropriate when you're gay that other people don't get asked, or, whatever? What is it you think about being gay that kind of sucks?
Well, I mean, this mainly happened to me when I was younger. Yeah. It really doesn't happen to me now. But people used to ask me, so what is it like being with another guy? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I would just say try it for yourself.
Right.
I mean, I don't have that answer for you. And then I remember my mom asked me once. She said, she knew I was dating a white guy, and then later on we broke up, and then I don't know, several months later I dated a black guy.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, is there any difference between dating a white guy and a black guy? I'm like,
but that's more of a racial thing. It's not a gay thing. It's a racial thing.
I know, but just that I don't know. But that's what she asked me too. But that's mainly my thing is like, well, what is it like, or that type of thing, or oh my God, you're fabulous. Every gay man I know dresses very fashion forward, which some do not. So let me be very clear about that.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So yeah. So that was, but the main thing is like, well, what is it like? What do you do? That type of thing. I'm like, I don't. Oh, and here's another thing I used to hate. I used to really hate it when my straight friends would be like, "Oh, you should meet my gay friend so and so," and I'm like, "Okay, well, what's about him? He's gay," and I'm like,
"Oh, therefore
that's it." Like, you think we're gonna be BFFs because we're both gay?
Right. But you know what? I mean, I get that because it's true. It's people, straight people do that all the time. They're like, oh, do you know so and so? No, we don't all know each other. No, I don't know so and so. Because you're gay or set you up with someone just because they're gay, you think that you should just click. You're right. But I think that they mean well when they do that. I just think it's kind of annoying.
They do.
I know why. I know what you mean. But there's some of the responses on this article I thought were interesting, and I agree with a lot of them. One of them said, especially for someone who's married, it said, dealing with legal and public matters, like getting a lawyer. I'm asked if married, and when I say yes, I am asked my wife's name. When I say I have a husband and give his name, it's always awkward. That's so true because I get asked that, but in business and stuff, see my ring or whatever. Oh, you're married? Yeah. Oh, what's your wife's name? I'm like, Michael. Oh, and
well, I mean, I really never do anything. I mean, I really never had to do anything as far as well, I'm not married, but plus I've never had to, do any legal stuff or anything like that, or I'm not married, so I don't have a ring where people are like, oh, who's, your wife,
but you could be asked just somebody who doesn't know you're gay. You could just ask you, so you're like, oh, I'm on a date this weekend, like, oh, what's she like or whatever, same kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, actually, when I hang out with some of my female friends, and we actually go out somewhere, they're like, oh, is this your girlfriend? Is this your wife? I'm like, no. No. I remember I went with my friend. She was car shopping, and she was shopping for a
car.
Yeah, she was shopping for a car. She was looking at an Audi, and the salesman come over. She was like, oh no, it was a he rather. He was like, oh, well, let me show you and your husband the type of car. We were like, we're not married. Sorry, we're not married. Sorry, at all.
But do you know what's weird about that, though? That's happened to me a million times with my best friends and stuff, my free female best friends or whatever in the past. And people are like, oh, how long have you been dating or whatever when I was younger or whatever. And I would get this weird sense of like pride, not because I was deemed straight or married, but just because I felt like I belonged for a second. You know what I mean? I felt like, oh, this is what it feels like to be part of like the majority. You know what I mean? This is what it feels like to be not a minority and like, on the outcast. It kind of feels nice. And so sometimes I'd be like, go along with it. I wouldn't correct them. I would just not say anything. And then towards the end of the thing, so do you have kids? I'm like, no, I'm gay. And they're like, oh, so I like to shock people. But anyway, that's just me. Another one is finding, this is a really good one, finding someone to date. I can't exactly walk up to an indie random guy and say, hey, want to go out, because he may well just punch me in the face. And that is so true about being gay, because when you're heterosexual, you just assume everybody else is heterosexual, and the majority of the world is. So if you're a male and you're looking out and you want to hit on a girl you see on the street you find attractive, most likely she's going to be straight, and whether she likes you or not, and she's not going to like get pissed off because you like say, hey, you're beautiful or whatever. Whereas if you're a gay guy and the population's only like 5 to 10% of the population is gay men, then you have the quite large possibility that if you just hit on some random guy, that he's going to fucking punch you in the face because he's homophobic or something. So it is true. It is harder to find, dates as a gay guy than it is a straight one, don't you think? Or, a heterosexual person in general. Hello? Hello? You were gone again. Hello?
I'm here. I can hear you fine.
You don't get mad at me because your fucking microphone's not working and whatever the fuck's going on. Okay, you're going in and out. I don't know why, but you're going in and out. So just calm down. It's not me doing it. It's something on your end. I don't know what it is. So sorry. What's your response to what I said, though? Did you hear what I said? Hello? Hello? Well, I guess this is going to be the Donovan show tonight because he's just not saying anything, or he can't hear himself, or I can't hear him, or we can't hear him, or whatever the case may be, because he cannot hear himself. He cannot hear that we cannot hear him. That being said, anyway, that's one of the things I feel about, maybe he'll come back eventually, about being gay versus being straight, because it is certainly a lot harder. Another thing that's harder about being gay than being straight, of course, is the white supremacy and racism in general, of course, which is a real issue in the gay community. Of course, when we're gay, we have to contend with being gay, and that's one thing. But then we have to also contend with being black or Hispanic or Asian or Native American or whatever race one is, but beyond being Caucasian. And that is an issue in and of itself in the gay community, which we've talked about many times on the show, about white supremacy and racism within the gay community. And, a lot, I know, God, I mean, there's so many times when you find on like Grindr or Scruff or places like that, things like that, people apparently are always saying, or even before that, when I was dating and stuff, when they had like Manhunt, I don't know if that's still around or not, and what was the other one, gay.com and things like that, where you could find dates and stuff. And people would put in their profiles, no blacks or no whatever, no fats, no femmes, no blacks, no whatever it is. And that is still an issue today in the community. And I find it to be abhorrent because, look, I mean, Jason and I talked about this on a previous show about why I feel people should certainly try to understand why it's wrong to put in their profile no blacks or not interested in black people, or no blacks, or whites only, or whatever the case may be. We've discussed this so many times, but I came to the conclusion, of course, myself, that it's not racist to say to be attracted to only certain people. I mean, to me, if you're only attracted to blondes or redheads, or you're not attracted to redheads, you're not attracted to brunettes, or whatever, you're only attracted to blondes, or you're only attracted to black women, or you're only attracted to black men, whatever, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with what your attraction is. And so if you're not attracted to people who are in general, black or Hispanic or white or Asian or whatever color they may be, there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with it is saying something like, to be so blatantly racist by saying, which it is racist to say, no blacks, to be exclusionary like that and discriminatory that way. Or no whites, or no Hispanics, or no whatever, no fats, no whatever the case may be, no chubs, whatever. So that's definitely a part of it too. And I think in the straight community, people are certainly not, I think in the straight community, obviously they deal with racism and they deal with it this way as well, but they certainly do not have, I think, the extreme like no blacks, no whites, or whatever, Asians only, or some shit like that in their profiles. I mean, maybe they do, but my friend Kathy, who's single, I've seen her on Tinder and stuff like that, and I've never seen things like that in hers. So anyway, another one is, of course, being gay. One of the downsides of being gay is in our community, HIV is more prevalent than it is in the heterosexual community. So of course that is an issue as well that we have to contend with as being gay people. Now, what that means, I mean, especially as a gay man, if you are, this day and age, people don't really remember the AIDS crisis unless you're reminded of it. Oh, Jason's back, I think. Let's see if he's here. Can you hear me, Jason?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you too now. Yay. I was just talking about the next one was, I was talking about before I move on, I guess, was white supremacy and racism in the gay community being a real issue for people who are gay versus people who are heterosexual. Don't you think it's different for gay people, or do you think it's exactly the same?
No, it's totally different.
How do you feel that? I mean, how do you think, or how do you say that? Why do you say that? I mean,
hold on.
I agree with you, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are.
Okay, sorry. Something popped up on my computer. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Woo! I said, why do you think racism is more prevalent in being more of an issue being gay than it is being heterosexual when you're not Caucasian or whatever?
I think here's my thing. So I think racism in the gay community, because it's really not more or less of a problem as opposed in the heterosexual community. I think people have their preferences, which is fine, but I also feel like certain individuals, there's a small percentage of gay and lesbian women, men and women, who just don't want to have anything to do with minorities and or people of color.
But that's called racism.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I don't know how that originated or where it came from, but there are just, I mean, you look on profiles. I see profiles back in the day where they don't want to talk to, black guys. They don't want to talk to normally I see no blacks, no Asians. That's the thing I see more than anything. No blacks, no Asians. But then here's the funny part about it, though. It seems like a lot of Asians like nothing but white guys.
Usually to me, I've seen a lot of Asians who like black guys, but I mean, usually it's
Well,
white.
maybe I just come across the wrong one.
It's usually white guys. I mean, I mean, just in my experience. I mean, yours may be different, but my experience is that with white guys who like Asian guys, because I remember when I was younger, they called them rice queens. It's horrible. They used to call them rice queens because they were only interested in Asians, and these white guys were. And these Asian guys only liked white guys. That's true a lot of the time. But I'm recent.
I've never heard the term rice queen.
Well, that's because I'm older than you. That's a term from the '90s. But now, I mean, I've seen most Asian guys I've seen have gay guys generally are like into black guys. I don't know what. I mean, that's just what I've seen. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, you're right. They do say that. But what I was saying before you came back online is that the thing is that I don't think that when you go through profiles or something on Tinder or on Match.com or whatever, or some sex app or whatever, for heterosexuals, that you see as often the kind of blatant racism that exists in the gay community, like no blacks or whatever. I think it's more prevalent.
No blacks, no Asians. Yeah, you're right, because I come across a lot of straight profiles too.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles, I guess. And I really don't see anyone saying anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's as prevalent. We talked about this before on the show, but I mean, right. I think the reason that it is the way it is because, well, first of all, just like, try to put this in one sentence here. The gay community, we talked about this before. Gay community, when it started, the people who had the most to lose were minorities, and even though we were part of Stonewall, and the people who really rallied at Stonewall and really started that whole thing were minorities. In general, the movement and as a whole was pushed forward by homosexual white males. Because they had less to lose. Do you know what I mean? They had less to lose. They were more visible and they were more palatable. You know what I mean? To the So I'm saying that. It was very white centric, the gay community, for a very long time, and so I think that's why now it's so like some of them are so anti-black or Hispanic because they feel like, you know, we're interlopers or something, and really we're all part of the same fucking community. But then
it's really weird when I see them. They really don't mess around with black guys, but then then you have the small percentage of white guys that only want black guys for like sexual reasons.
Oh yeah, that happens. Yes.
And I'm like, so you'll fuck this black guy because of the size of his penis or what you think he may have, but
right.
Outside of that, it's like you're off limits. Like, I don't get it.
Oh, honey. I could tell you. I told you before. I had a guy I dated a long time ago, and you know, he didn't know I was half black. This is a long time ago, and I was like 19. He didn't know I was half black, and we had great sex, and everything was wonderful, whatever. And then all of a sudden, when he realized I was black because of this joke he was telling, and I said, "Don't say that kind of joke around me," he said, "Oh, you're black?" I was like, "I'm half black." Yeah. He's like, "I thought you were Latino," or whatever it was. And I said, "Well, I'm not." I said, "I'm half black. I don't appreciate you talking about that." Anyway, my point is that he's, "Well, I can't date you anymore." And I said, "Why not? We have a lot of fun and whatever. We were attracted to each other." He's, "Yeah, but I can't take you home to my parents." I'm like, "Bitch, you didn't even know." I said, he said, "Bitch, you didn't even know I was half black until I told you. How would your parents know? And what the fuck difference does it make?" I was like, wow. So yeah, that's happened to me, and it's very true what you just said. That happens all the time. Mm-hmm.
I know. I did date a guy in my college days. He was Jewish.
Yes.
And his family was Jewish. And when I met them, they didn't like me. Not for the fact that I was black.
No, because
they
you
didn't
weren't
like
Jewish.
the fact that I wasn't Jewish.
Right.
They were just like, "Oh, well," and then like the mother really sat down and had a conversation with me. It was like, "So if you guys get serious, would you ever think about converting?"
Yes.
I was like, "No."
Yeah.
I mean, and no disrespect to any Jewish people that are listening, but I was just like, "No, I just don't have any interest in converting."
Well, I think
she's like. I was just like, "Oh, okay," and then she just paid me
turned
dust
off
for the rest of the time.
Yes. Well, that's the way Jewish mothers are, and so generally that's how they are. I mean, it's just very well known because most Jewish people want to keep their bloodline going. Meaning,
exactly,
because they were so many of them were killed and murdered. So go ahead.
Right, and then on top of that, I was like, plus, how would I be a black Jew?
There's black Jewish people. What's her name? Is
I mean,
Jewish.
I know that, but it's like, I don't know. But then let's just say just for fun, I did convert over to to become Jewish or whatever. Then I'm gonna have an issue with my parents. Like, well, no, it's just no.
Well, Jewish is not, even though people say it is all the time, Jewish isn't really, I mean, this is going to piss off Jewish people, some Jewish people, because Jewish people don't always agree with me on this, and a lot of people don't, but Jewish is not really a race of people. They claim to be a race of people by their religion, but the religion is what Jewish is. That's the religion. That's not the race.
Right. Well, I know that, but I've never known for Jewish to be a race. I've always known to be religion.
Well, no, you were just saying a black Jew. And I'm like, there are people who think that's weird because most Jewish people are like from the Middle East or from Israel or whatever, right. Palestine, whatever. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that just because it's not a racial thing, it's about religious. So there are plenty of black people who are Jewish. I've known black people who are Jewish, and then there's celebrities who are too. What's his name? Lenny Kravitz is half Jewish, and he's Jewish. So there you go.
Yeah, and plus I know the first thing about being Jewish, and I mean I would love to learn more about it.
If you're a good old Southern boy from Mississippi, it's Mississippi, right?
Tennessee.
I'm sorry.
Same thing.
I never get it. I'm sorry, Tennessee. If you're a good old Southern boy from Tennessee, then that means you probably were raised in Southern Baptist beliefs and that kind of shit. And if that's the case, then you can be Jewish unless you really want to denounce that Jesus Christ was your Savior and Lord, all that bullshit. So,
well, listen. Here's the thing about me going to church when I was young. I just went to church when I was young because I had no other choice. It's not like I wanted to be like, oh, Mom, I want to stay home today, even though I have said that a few times when I was growing up. But it wasn't any. And then when I did go, the only thing I remember was falling asleep. It was just one big nap.
Yeah, it was boring.
And no disrespect to anyone who goes to church on a regular basis.
No,
I'm just saying me.
It's way too high level thinking, honestly, if you think about it, for most kids. That's why most kids go to Sunday school or whatever. They don't go to the full service usually.
And normally if they do, they just sleep like I did.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, and also I thought it was full of shit. Even at 8 years old, I thought they were idiots. But that's just my opinion. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, so you're right.
I thought Sunday school was fun, though.
Sunday school was fun because we had to make stuff and crafts and stuff like that. And even though it was like Jonah on the Ark and stuff, and we'd sing in choir, and it was fun. I loved it. It was fun. And Vacation Bible School, I went to that too. That's why I like to go for the social aspect. I had no interest in the other shit, the religious
Me
part.
too. That was the only reason I pretty much was just to socialize and just make stuff.
Exactly why most people do. That's the thing about religion, and that's why it's so powerful for people who don't like to be criticized or ridiculed for their beliefs because of the fellowship, with your community, and that's part is it's amazing, and it brings people together, and that's great. Yes, but the problem is that a lot of times it brings people together for the wrong reasons, and hate and shit like that. Hating gay people and hating people who aren't like you and who are not your religion.
I always want to know, just in general, why are churchgoers so judgmental? Like, they always preach not to be judgmental, but it seems like they're the most judgmental out of any other group of people.
They are. Christians especially. Christians are the worst.
Yeah, and the hardcore Christians.
Well, Southern Baptists are even harder and worse. Yes.
Yeah, so I've never understood. They always like, oh, we're supposed to love one another. We're not supposed to judge, but as soon as you step outside the church, that's all you guys do is judge each other.
What was the show I was watching? I can't remember. For some reason, it just popped in my head. It was it real Desperate Housewives? I don't know. It was a long time ago. It was somebody who was black, and she was going to some church, and she was real nice or whatever, and she was trying to get her church to. I don't remember what happened, but anyway, this woman, this older black lady, it was a Baptist church. She's like, "Oh, honey, welcome to the church," and blah blah blah, and whatever. And they were doing some sort of what's it called when you sell stuff? Like a flea market. What's it called? Like a bazaar? I don't know what the fuck.
Like a church sale.
Like a church sale. Yeah. And they were like collecting coats and stuff like that. And anyway, and so this woman was all, real sweet to everybody. Hi, honey, how are you? How's so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And they're coming by and dropping off their clothes and stuff. And they were behind this table together. And as soon as they'd walk by, ooh, girl, she's got problems. She's got her husband's cheating on her, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes, that's what they do.
Yes. But then to your face, they're all, oh, God bless you, and honey child. And then to this woman, and then she starts stealing shit from the pile, like a fur coat, and she's putting it on and walking out the door with it. So it's like, I mean, it's like it's complete hypocrisy. It's all it is to me. But anyway, I mean, but the problem is that you can't set a human being up to be infallible and perfect and expect them to reach that level because we're human. We're none of us are perfect. So to act like everybody's perfect or to expect everyone else to be perfect is stupid because it's not going to happen anyway. But yes, that's a very good conversation. The other thing is another one on here was about being HIV positive. Of course, that's obviously an issue for people who.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a huge.
Yeah, well, I think it's more prevalent, obviously, as an issue in the gay community than it is in the straight one. And although the last time I remember reading statistics about HIV,
I thought they said more heterosexuals had it right now.
Yeah, the highest risk and highest growing group was, last I read, was women, not
heterosexual women, right?
Yeah, not gay men. But that was like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I don't know. So I don't know what the
no, but I thought they had another report that came out recently that said, I don't know if it was, if I remember it correctly, it didn't have a gender, but it said more heterosexuals were infected with HIV as opposed to homosexuals.
I don't know if that's true, but maybe. But what I know recently I read in terms of the fastest growing infection rate is among young black men, and that sucks.
That is so sad.
And that's because. And that's the thing. I mean, you're younger than me by 7 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or maybe more. I don't know. I can't remember how old you are. I think you're 33, right? Is that right?
34.
34. So you're like 8 years younger than me. Okay. Anyway, so I remember when in 1990 when I came out, I was like 15. I at that time there were still people dying of AIDS, and the cocktail or whatever hadn't been invented yet. I think it was like a couple years later or something like that, and saved people's lives or whatever, like we have now or whatever it's called. Anyway, so but I remember people dying and people I knew had died because I had friends who were older than me and stuff like that. And friends of theirs had died and stuff like that. So I remember seeing how, and plus I worked at the AIDS Resource Center, it was called at the time. Now it's called the Resource Center here in Dallas in 1993. As a work study thing, and I was the volunteer coordinator there. I saw gay people dying all the time, and the HIV infection rate and everything else. Anyway, my point is that I saw the actual disease and progression and killing people and people dying and what it did to people's lives and the people who they left behind. People these days, and your age range, the majority and younger, have no idea. They have never seen the what it can do, and because they see people in these fucking ads, like climbing mountains and shit, because they're on whatever it's called, Truvada or whatever, and that means I'll just take a pill if I get HIV, whereas they don't see the fact that they have the shits all the time, and because they have to take that medicine and they get sick at their stomach or whatever, right? So you see what I mean? I think that's the problem, is that's why there's such a higher infection rate among younger black men, especially because I think that they are not privy or understanding the history of HIV. That they're just thinking it's I could just take a pill.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that's just young people in general. I know it's higher in
you're right,
black males, but I think that's just with younger people in general.
That you're right.
They think that everything is cured with a pill or a shot, and that's not always the case.
That's true. Yes, that's absolutely true. Another thing was this is funny, and I'm sure you've dealt with this, as every gay man has, dealing with straight women who want to be your gay best friend. Or you want you to be their gay best friend. And I've definitely it's so funny because it's so funny to me. Almost always it's some conservative woman, or not conservative, but like someone who wouldn't, it's traditional or whatever. And they're married and they have kids or whatever, and they just want to be your best friend. It's not always like they could be a single person, but I'm just saying they just want to be your best friend. Oh my God, it's like you're like a little oddity. It's like you're like some little, trinket or something that.
Yeah, because I hate it when they refer to us as, those are my gays. My gays.
Yes.
I'm like, no, we don't belong to you. You don't own us.
Right.
So
it makes it sound like their dog or their kitten or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I don't. And then plus I'd be like, do you genuinely want to be my friend, or you just want to be my friend because I'm gay and you think we'll just, have cosmos and talk about
Kiki,
men or something.
Kiki, yes. Well, that's the thing, though, is that just like you said earlier, I mean, not every gay guy is the same. There are gay guys who are great at fashion and all that stereotypical stuff, and just hero design or architecture or whatever. And there are those who they're accountants and actuaries and boring shit. So I mean, you can't think that we're all going to be like somebody going to go shopping with you and everything else. Although I am definitely one of those gays who will do that. But I'm saying
here's the thing about me.
Yeah,
I love clothing, but I hate shopping for it. Because a lot of women think that gay men just love to shop for clothes. I hate shopping for clothes, to be honest. I like what I pick out when I do it, but just the process of looking around, and then I'm like always critiquing myself on like, oh, let me make sure this is the perfect fit, or no, it's like an 8-hour shift at a job. Like I can't do it. It's too much. It's too much.
I'm very decisive. I know exactly what I like and what I don't like. So if I see something on the rack, I'm just like boop 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 boop, just pass on, and I see something, yeah, I like that. And I usually don't even try it on. I just like it, and I get it. And so I'm good with it. I know my size and everything else. But I love to shop for clothes. I love to shop for clothes. And if I could afford Tom Ford, I'd wear it every fucking day.
Oh, Tom Ford has some nice shit.
Oh, God. But you know what's... His fucking shit is so... Now, look, I make good money, but I don't make that kind of money where I'm going to spend $8,000 on a pair of shoes and, $20,000 on a bag. I mean, his clothes...
Well, maybe we can get a sponsorship from Tom Ford.
Oh, please. Right. That's going to happen. But, I mean, his shirts are really cool and nice, and the colors and the texture and everything else. But they're like $500. I'm like... I'm not spending $500 on a shirt. I just can't.
Well, I can't either. But I mean, you never know. You may get someone, a representative from Tom Ford, be like, we'd like to sponsor your show.
Please, I don't see that ever happening. But anyway, we can't.
It's wishful thinking, though. And they're like, oh, we'll send you stuff to try on, and
Well, if that's the case, I got to lose about 20 more pounds because I'm not going to be. I'm not going to look good in Tom Ford. If I'm not skinny.
Yeah, I think Tom Ford is made for like really well. The stuff that I see on a model score, like haven't eaten in
right.
weeks. But I mean, he has really nice stuff, and just like my friend Kat, she was talking about. She loves, designer Vera Wang. She loves Vera Wang, everything by Vera Wang. But she was just like, I feel like I would have to lose a few pounds to, get into any type of Vera Wang dress. And I was like, yeah, because the models that they do show, once again, they're,
do you know what model size is like 0 now? It used to be like 6, 4, something like that. Now it's 0. And then they have even double zeros.
It was 2.
They have double zeros now. Double zeros. Now it's 0. It depends on the designer. But most...
What the hell is a double zero?
That means you're not a 0, but you're twice that small. You're 0.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It's a real size. But anyway, but the problem is they don't make clothes for real women or real men generally. I mean, men's clothing is a little better than women. Of course, women's a really impossible standard for most women to reach. But
right, because isn't the average size for a woman is a size 10?
I think it's like a size 12 or something. Yeah, I think it's like a size 12. Yeah. I mean, it's in that, which Marilyn Monroe was a size 14, so she was curvy, but she looked good. But what, you know what I mean? So I mean, So what? But people are just obsessed with body issues and image in this country, as we always have been. And I used to be really bad about it when I was young. I was really I thought I was fat when I was like a 28-inch waist. I thought I was fat.
What?
I was an idiot. I'm serious. I was in high school.
I would kill to have a 28-inch.
I was in high school. I was skinny as fuck, and I thought I was fat. I was like, oh, I need to get rid of this and that.
Did you go to school with people who were smaller than you?
Well, I was tall though. I was not tall. I was 6 foot exactly. But what do you mean smaller than me? Like shorter than me, or what do you mean? Like skinnier?
No, I mean when you said you had a 28 waist and you thought you were fat, so I said, were there other guys in school that were smaller?
I just look because I didn't have a 6-pack and I didn't have the perfect, flat. Everything wasn't flat and perfect. I just, it was like not. I wasn't fat, but I wasn't like, toned or anything. So to me, in my mind at that time, I had to be muscular and it had to be like, really toned and fit like an Olympian or a swimmer or something to be considered okay. My point is that I was just like everybody else is now at that time in my life where I felt, I have to look a certain way in order to be accepted, not only by other people, but by myself. But I grew out of all that, obviously. And now I just want to be, I want to be like a regular, I have a 36-inch waist, by the way. That's what I'm just fine. But I would like to have a 32-inch waist again. It's been like, a few years, probably like 4 years, 5 years or 6 years, something like that. So I'd like to be in that size again and just be, I don't want to be like perfect. I just want to be, just toned up a little bit. And I want to be, skinnier so I can fit some of that goddamn Tom Ford that I can afford.
pretty much a light touch up here, a light touch up there.
I wish that were that easy, but yeah. Oh, you mean, yeah. Just here and there, just kind of shaping and sculpting.
Speaking of this, I read an article and they did a survey and they were saying that men, there's been a steady increase of men doing cosmetic surgery,
Yes.
getting cosmetic surgery.
Yes.
Because, for the longest, they always thought it was women. They said that it's still a little higher with women.
Yeah.
Because, and they said the top thing that women have done are breast implants.
Yeah.
But they said that they've seen a spike in men getting cosmetic surgery. And guess what they're getting the most according to the survey?
What?
Lipo.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And around that love handle area. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it did, around the stomach love handle area.
But that's what I would do. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I need. And that's what I would do. If I were going to do it, I would do that. And also the great thing about that is it doesn't grow back there ever. It goes back, but it comes back on your back or somewhere else instead. If you gain it back, it comes back there. But no, for me, I'd still have to like lose enough weight that that would make enough of a difference for me. But I mean, I didn't want to lose probably another 30 more pounds. I'd be happy. I lost 40 pounds last year, and I want to lose 30 more. And that's how much I needed to lose 70 pounds till I can't believe I got so big, but I did. But
I understand. That's why I go to the gym every day.
Well, I started doing that again. I actually bought a Bowflex Max trainer. It's that thing that you cycle, you stand up on. It's sort of like a elliptical, and sort of like a cycle, and sort of like a treadmill all at one. Anyway, it's really cool. Yeah,
I've seen it.
Yeah, that works really well for me. It's been really good. And then also I've been walking every day and watch my weight and everything else. But anyway, the point is that it's not an easy It's not an easy thing to do. And but it always makes you feel better when you do it. And I just really my goal, I have this shirt that I had when I was 25 years old that I bought at Armani Exchange. And it was like when Ricky Martin was I don't know if you remember, he was wearing, when he did that what's that song he loved? That bong bong, shake your bong bong song.
Shake your bong bong, shake your bong bong, shake your
whatever
bong
song
bong.
he did. No, Living La Vida Loca. That's the song I'm thinking of. Anyway, he did it at the MTV Music Awards or whatever, and he's wearing this shirt. It's the exact same shirt. It's like sort of this ribbed, tight, long sleeve shirt.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but it's got a scoop neck on it. Yeah. Anyway, so that is what
it's like a V-neck or something like that.
What's a scoop neck, but it's tight fitting and it's long sleeved. Anyway, that's what I bought, and I looked really good in it, and I got a lot of compliments and hoots and shit in the day. My point is I can wear that now. I can wear it a few months ago, but I can wear it now. But I don't look good in it anymore. So I'm saying when I lose my last 30 pounds, then I will be okay again, and I'll look at it. My point is, that's my goal, is to look good in that shirt again. I'll be happy, and then I can buy my Tom Ford. I'll be happy.
And another thing I noticed in this article, they said that the people who don't have the money to do cosmetic surgery, because not everyone's able to pay for cosmetic surgery, men are buying Spanx.
Oh, you mean like girdles?
Yeah, and no, but
it's a girdle basically. Yes, I know.
But they actually have. They're starting to make all the stuff.
Those have been out for a long time. Yeah, I had one of those. I admit it, a long time ago. Yeah, I had one. I had Spanx.
And I saw a video of one. This guy had like he wasn't fat, but he had a few
love
extra
handles
pounds
or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, he had like just a little bit of belly. It wasn't a beer belly. It was a little bit.
That's like me.
He put on that Spanx.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
you can't even see his stomach at all.
Yeah, I had one years ago, like 7 years ago. No, it wasn't that long. It was probably like 4 years ago, something like that.
With that thing on, like he had a flat ass stomach, like dead serious. It wasn't no bulge, no nothing.
I stopped wearing them though. I actually threw it away because the reason was it fucking would ride up in the wrong places. Your dick would get like squinched up. I mean, it was hurt. It was fucking painful. At least my dick, I've got a big one, so mine would get off. Mine would get in between the crease between your leg and everything, and it would get like, I put my pants on or whatever, and so I stopped wearing it after like a couple weeks. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't like it, but it did do the trick though. It made me look exceptionally, trim on the sides, and that's what I wanted. It was really good. But anyway, but see, I have no shame. I admit anything. You just ask me a question, I'll tell you the truth. Anyway, the one more thing before we go I want to talk about was there is a show coming out on MTV. Have you ever seen the show Catfish? You've seen that before, right?
Yeah, I've seen episodes here and there. I don't watch it.
But you know what it is, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So now they're coming out with a show called Catfish Trolls. and it's to be hosted by Raymond Braun, who's an LGBT person and activist, and Charlemagne the God, who was on Catfish a lot. And they're going to co-host a show, and they're going to bring people together from the internet whom have never met. But one person is the victim and the other person is the troll, and bring them together in person to hash out their issues. Now, do you think this is a good idea?
So what do you mean? So if there's two people on the internet,
Yeah.
okay, give me like a scenario, because I'm kind of lost.
Okay,
on
let
this.
me tell you. I had trolls when I did my Off Limits show for years, and they would harass me, call me names, faggot, and fuck me, whatever. And they'd come to my house, and they tried to harass me. They stole my identity. They did lots of shit with my credit. That's trolls. I mean, and they all the time. Every time I have to have a show, they call on my show, and they start screaming at me and yelling at me, and call me faggot or whatever, or pretend like they were nice, and then all of a sudden start screaming at me. That's what a troll does. They just try to fuck you up.
Right.
So so these people, let's say that these people, which I would never want to meet them, these people called the show, or I called the show and said, look, I want to confront these people, these trolls. And okay, so the troll has to agree to appear on the show with the victim, and then they go on the show and talk about why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing that? Now, first of all, I don't give a fuck, because I don't like these fuckers, and I don't want to ever fucking see them, because I would fucking kill them, literally. But I certainly don't think it's a good idea, because there's no telling what the fuck would happen. I mean, seriously, in person.
Yeah, I feel like that sounds like just more of a ratings grabber. Like, I don't understand why you would want to meet someone that's giving you issues online. I'm like, just block their ass if that's the case. Like, I don't understand.
But it's not always as easy as blocking them. The problem is a lot of, especially in my case, a lot of them were computer geeks and hackers and people like that, and they would hack into my computer, and they would create brand new profiles, and they get around the blocking system of the sites that I was on and everything else. So there was never anything I could do about it. And they put shit out about me on the internet that wasn't true. I mean, just tons of shit. So, I mean, it's very difficult to get rid of them. Just blocking them is not typically going to work. So,
right.
But I don't think if I were ever, I would never want to do this, but if I were to ever do that, I don't think meeting with them would solve anything. What would I want to fucking meet with them? I mean, what the fuck would I do
Exactly.
that for?
That's why I said this sounds like just strictly a ratings grabber. I mean, like I will do with every new show, I'll watch just at least one episode to kind of get the gist of it. But after that, if it's like, just a ratings grabber and nothing is really resolved at the end, I'm like, oh, this is clearly a show just for, the shock value or something. I don't know. But,
I wanted to talk about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. Yeah. So that was my 2 cents on that.
I wanted to ask you before we go about Potomac Housewives reunion.
Oh my God! I'm so glad you brought that up.
So let's talk about that. With Karen and all that stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I'll say I watched part 1. And then I had it saved in my DVR, and then my DVR died, and the technician had to send another one. Now I'm getting fucking sick of AT&T, but that's another time. So they delivered a new box, and now all my shit is gone. But anyway, I did watch the part 1 reunion to season 2.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say all the women looked great. I think every single one of them looked great. Because normally I'm the type of person, I'm like, oh, she looked good. I don't think she looked that great. She didn't look good. That type of thing.
Yes, you are normally that kind of person. That's for sure.
But they all look great. But I think out of everyone, if I had to name my favorite, even though they all look good, I'd probably say Monique.
She looked pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved her dress for some reason.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they got right off the top, right into the business, and they were just like, so why did you move?
Right.
And Karen was just like, oh, I did it for my parents. I was like, well,
bullshit.
My thing is, I was like, why would you move into a house for your parents if they ain't even made a fucking decision yet?
And her parents live an hour away from Great Falls already.
I know, because Charisse was like, that's only like 12 miles away.
Exactly. He was so stupid.
And then she was Karen was just really blabbering on and on and on, and Ashley was like, you're going like a mile a minute. Can you slow down for the rest of us? That type of thing. And and then they asked her about the home and everything, and they said that she owed this money. Of course, she denied it. But everyone else was like, they had to look in their face like, we don't believe that.
She doesn't. You can look in public records and know she doesn't own it. She said they have the option to buy, blah blah blah.
But that's my thing is, if you have all this money like you claim you do,
that's what I said last week. Yes, exactly.
Why don't you just
don't
buy
rent
it?
They're not going to rent. We know why, because they had to pay off a $1.4 million judgment personally.
Right. But I'm just saying, anybody with that amount of money is not going to rent unless you just. The only time I can see someone renting, and it's for a short amount of time, and you have the kind of money that they claim they have, is if you're getting a house built from the ground,
we talked about
and
that.
you're getting it custom built, and you want things served a certain way. Then I can see you renting.
Well,
for
that's
a few
like
months.
You don't watch the show, but Real Housewives of OC. There was Heather Dubrow, who's married to a very big time plastic surgeon. They had tons of money, and when the show started, she lived in like a $12 million house. Well, while the show was going, like her third or fourth season, they started building a huge, even bigger house, 15 or 16,000 square foot house in OC, and they rented a smaller house while they were building for like 2 years. It took 2 or 3 years to build a house that big. And so that's normal for someone if you have the money, to build a house like that, to do that. But if you are just renting a house because and you're not building something else and you don't have another extenuating circumstance, there's no reason for you to rent. That's just stupid. But she thinks we're all dumb.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't understand her logic, and she was like, "Well, I'm doing it for my parents. I'm doing it for my parents." I was like, "Then why would you rent the house and sign the papers and move into the house if you don't even know what your parents' decision is?" Like, I was like, Karen, sit down somewhere with that. I don't believe you with that. And then they got onto Robin about the situation between her and Juan. I don't understand their situation. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I just do not understand their situation. Like, he says on camera on a hot mic that if it wasn't for the kids, he'll be gone.
Yes.
But then he comes back and says, "Oh, well, maybe we can work it out." I'm like, what the fuck do
your
y'all want to
fucking
do? I'm so
mind.
confused.
They don't. I don't think they know what the fuck they want either. I don't think they know what they want.
And then Robin is like, "America, we're fine. Stop asking me." We're like, "Bitch, you are not fine." Because first of all, if you were fine, you wouldn't announce to the world that you were fine. So I'm like,
well, she's not fine because she's going to therapy, trying to figure out what to do about her relationship with him, and then she has to confront him about, well, basically told him, "You've got 6 months to get your act together, or I'm leaving, or we're not gonna be together ever, or whatever."
Exactly. And plus, I'm thinking to myself, for some reason in her mind, she thinks that in order for kids to be raised properly, it needs to be two parents and you needs to be a 2-parent household. That's not the case. I mean, plus her kids are old enough to know what the hell's going on. You can't tell me those kids don't know what the hell's going on.
I'm sure they know.
I mean, these aren't like 2-year-olds. These kids are what 7, 8, 9 years old.
Well,
they know what the hell's going on.
They do, but I still don't think it's ever a smart thing to stay together for children anyway, because everybody's miserable. But I don't think that they're even miserable. I think that this is what I think. This is just my assessment personally. I think that Robin still loves Juan. I think Juan loves Robin, but I don't think Juan wants to be with Robin anymore. And I think that the only reason he's there is because of how it's going to appear to the children, as you said, and to the public, although we all know their business now anyway. And I think that she really does love him, and she's hanging on forever for hope. But I also think that they're divorced. They're actually divorced. So
right.
if you're divorced and you're living in the same house together and you still have a relationship with this person, then why the fuck did you get divorced? I don't understand. He cheated on her.
Having sex occasionally, so I'm like, well, what's the point? So pretty much, he has the freedom to have sex with you and then have sex with some other bitch
now
up
versus
and down the
when you're
DC
married,
border.
right? And but didn't they say the whole thing was an allegation that he cheated on her? That's why they got divorced, right? I think that's what they said, because Andy said something about that. Yeah. Anyway, and then what about?
But I don't get their relationship.
I don't either. What about Charisse accusing Giselle of having an open marriage? She'd said that there were there's talk about your marriage and blah blah blah, blah and how you and your husband have the open marriage and everything, that kind of shit. And she was talking to her about that. And
listen, if they agree to open marriage, then hey. I mean, if they both agree to it, they would have a moment.
I have no problem with open marriage either. But I have no problem. If it's your agreement, if you agree to it, it's no problem. But it's between you and the other person. I agree. But I'm just saying that Giselle's acting like it's this big deal. But she,
but it's Giselle, for God's sake.
But Giselle, yes. And she's not admitting it.
And she also made me upset when she was like, it's normal when people invite somebody over and you talk about them,
And everybody goes, "No, it's not."
I was like, that's what
talk
I was
trash.
Like, no, the hell, I've never done
what
that.
you do. That's what you do when you go to somebody's house. You talk trash. I'm like, they're like, no, you don't.
I was like, no, because I've been invited to plenty of people's houses in my lifetime, and I've never talked trash in their house about them.
Oh, your house is horrible. It's so bad. And the last one, Ashley. Now, what's going on with her? And she doesn't even say much about what's going on with her and her husband. Basically, they don't seem to be doing well.
No, she did say that her and her marriage. She said the marriage is rocky right now, but they are actively working on it. And that was pretty much it. But she did kind of, throw shade at, was it Giselle? No, Robin. Was it Robin?
I think it was Robin.
Yeah.
Because Robin's mad at her still, yeah.
Yeah, because she was like, well, we're actively working on ours. And, and
right.
meanwhile, you living with a divorced man who's doing God knows what. Or something of that nature. I don't know.
Yes.
But,
but the thing is, at the end of the season, I thought she and Robin had made up. And now they're in... What happened between, you know what I mean? They were
but you gotta remember when you do a reunion, you have to rehash a lot of stuff that's
true.
Happened, and then that
you've seen
you get
again.
your people getting their feelings all over again and that type of thing. But I'm gonna tell you the thing that just sent me overboard, and I was like, yes, is when they questioned Monique about her being married to her husband, about her money. You remember they had the thing about. Giselle said the thing about, oh, well, that's his house. You're living in his house.
They're married.
And Monique was like, no, we're married, so things become one. And then she, she's like, well, if that's the case, I would much rather be off with that than, being known as someone who's getting 10% of offerings being donated to them. I said, ooh, bitch.
Wait. What did she say? Who said that? Monique?
Monique was like, well, if you want to call, because... Giselle was going the whole season saying that she doesn't have any money. She doesn't have this. Her husband has all this. She's just there.
Well, Monique said to her, though, she said in retaliation to Giselle or whatever, she said, well, the only reason you have your money is because your ex-husband. At least I'm still married to mine. That's what I remember her saying.
Right. And then she also said that if that's the case, I would rather be known as someone being married to the husband and living off of the husband, if that's the case,
right.
rather than getting 10% of the church offerings donated to me. I said, damn.
Oh.
I said, bitch, you did that.
I do like Monique, though. I like her.
I do. I like her a lot. I did in the beginning.
I wasn't sure about her at first, but I like her. Yeah,
I did like. I like Monique a lot. Monique is probably my favorite on the show. It used to be Giselle last season for like the first 3 episodes, and then they kind of went down the drain. I never really cared for Karen. No. Robin is okay. And I do like the fact that they did bring up the fact that when Robin is with Giselle, she acts differently. Yes. And I'm like, she was like, I do. I'm like, yes, bitch, you do. We see it on TV. Yes, you act completely fucking different when you're around Giselle. But I'm gonna say out of all of them, I like Charisse. Mm-hmm. Charisse is okay. I really don't have a problem with Charisse. I really don't have a problem with Ashley. But I would say out of all of them, Monique is probably my favorite. And I think it's because she is not afraid to say what's on the mind, but also she is the epitome of what the other women wish they had, which is the husband that wants them, the money, the houses, the cars, the children, the just that relationship. Because not all of them may have that here or there, but they don't have the whole bundle, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
I do, but the one thing Monique doesn't have is a nice mother-in-law. I hate that bitch. I do not like her.
Oh yeah, and then she said that she bought her mother-in-law a car.
She hadn't heard a word from her.
Thank you, and then you ain't heard from that bitch. I said, oh no.
In like 8 months, she said. 8 months.
You bought this bitch a new car, and I'm sure with the kind of money you had, I'm sure it was a nice luxury vehicle.
Probably.
So, and I'm like, she said thank you, and then
the thing about family is, though, most people don't agree with this. Most people are like, oh, family's family, and you have to put up with family because they're family, blah, blah, blah. No, I've never been that way, even since I was a little fucking kid. I mean, not a little kid. I was a teenager. There are parts of my family I hated, and because they're fucking hypocrites, liars, and hated gay people and everything else. And so I would just didn't want fucking thing to do with them, and I would let them know that. And I was like, fuck you, basically. And just because somebody is your family member does not mean you have to love them. I'm sorry. And that bitch is somebody I would fucking kick under the table. I hate her. I do not like that woman. I do not like her at all.
So if that was your mother-in-law, you would just be
I would cut her off. I would be such a manipulative little bitch about, oh my God. I would get her, I'd get her bad. I would be buying her a car, I know that much.
Just for fun, if Michael was half black,
yes,
and that was his mother and your mother-in-law, Oh my God, I'm sure you have just tons of stories to tell. Just
We
talk
wouldn't
about.
be talking. I mean, trust me. I already, we already don't talk to his sister anymore because she's been an evil person to me lately, the past year. So, I mean, there's people I don't talk to, and I just don't take shit from people, and people don't like that because I guess they just expect you to take shit. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm not a fucking doormat. So, if she ever talked to me the way, like my mother-in-law, if I had a mother-in-law, which his mother-in-law is a complete cunt. So, actually, this is the perfect example. So, his stepmother, I mean, is a complete cunt. And that's who raised him partially. And I have no problem telling her that, and I've told her that. And so we don't talk to her, not because of me, because he hates her too. But if that woman were my mother-in-law, I would have no problem telling her the way it is. And I think anyone in a similar situation should be honest. My golden rule, and this has gotten me in so much trouble in my life, but I still live by it because I know it's the best policy, is to always fucking tell the truth and fucking communicate with people. If you don't like somebody, ask them why. Sit them down, talk to them, and say, look, this is what's wrong. This is what you've done to me. I feel bad about it. Can we work this out? And if they say no, then say fuck you and be gone. They're done. Pull them like a fucking weed. That's how I see it. So anyway, everybody's different, but that's how I am. So, but I hope you know, people, those of you listening, that I would never pull you like a weed because we appreciate you listening to the show. And we'll be back next week on July the 20th, sometime around 9 or 10 o'clock. You just look for us then if you want to listen.
And I want to add this little thing before we go.
Sure.
Okay, so I have AT&T Uverse. I am ditching AT&T Uverse as soon as my contract is up because I am just fed up with them to the fullest extent of fetivity.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to renew. The technician came out here yesterday. He was just like, oh, well, maybe you can get out your contract early if you just talk to him. I said, you know what? I just might do that because I'll keep the internet because I got to have internet. I can't live without internet. But I made a post. I don't know if you saw it a few days ago, but I was saying that I was debating if I should get Amazon Fire TV or Apple TV. I'm just going to go to that and it'll save me a ton of money because me paying $160 for this shit is not worth $160 a month. The shit doesn't even work half of the damn time. So I'm like, I'm sick of handing over AT&T $160 a month for some shit that doesn't even work. And then when it does work, half the shit you have on TV is shit that I'm not even interested in watching.
Right.
So it's like,
I have no problems at all with Spectrum, which was Time Warner Cable. I've had no problems at all with them. They're fantastic. My internet speed's always great, 300 megabytes a second.
You have Spectrum. Okay, because I know the guy when he came over here to do my box, he said that they just bought Time Warner.
Who did?
AT&T.
No, they did not.
That's what he told me. I'm just going off what he told me. I don't know. I didn't pull up and do any research, but he said that not to just buy, but they were in the process, they're in the process of purchasing Time Warner.
It says no, Time Warner Cable isn't part of AT&T merger. It says online right here. It says AT&T. It says AT&T buys Spectrum owner for $1.6 billion, but it says that they don't actually have an actual stake in Time Warner, so whatever. But I don't have Time Warner now. I have a Spectrum, so
okay.
I don't know. Because what I read was that Charter became Spectrum. Charter bought Time Warner Cable and it became Spectrum. That's what I read or remember. But anyway, I'm just letting you know what it says. But anyway, my point is I've had no issues with Time Warner Cable. They're fantastic, and I think you should go with them. But if you don't want cable, if you do go with an Apple TV, which I find to be the much, it's got a lot more to offer, trust me. You can even play games on and everything else.
But see, that's my thing. I'm still kind of torn. I don't know if I should get Apple TV or Amazon because, I mean, I already have an Amazon account and, that type of thing.
You don't have an iTunes account?
I might have an iTunes account too.
Well, that's what it goes to. It's all based on your iTunes account. Music, movies.
But could you use Amazon on Apple TV?
No, because Amazon refuses to be on anything Apple because they're competitors. So you would have. What I do is I have TiVo, so I use Amazon through my TiVo. But if you want Amazon, just get your fucking Fire Stick and switch it over to fucking Amazon. It's like $20 or some shit. But I'm telling you,
I want the media player. I just don't want the stick.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that I'm telling you that the Apple TV has a lot more to offer in terms of apps. You can watch Hulu, HBO Go, you can watch Showtime Go.
But people say you can do the same thing on Amazon too. So I just gotta do my research and find out which one.
Also on Apple TV, you play all your music and your movies, and also there's games on there and apps and things like that you can add that aren't on the other ones. Also, it works with your other home shit. So anyway, my point is I just find it to be a better thing. I have we have 4 Apple TVs in my house. So I have them for a reason. But I also have Amazon, and I only use Amazon when I'm not on Apple TV. And you can get Netflix through there. You can get everything through there. So I say Apple TV all the way because I'm an Apple person anyway. But whatever.
I mean, I am too, but I'm just kind of torn between this.
Well,
one.
why don't you go? Why don't you go
Best Buy and do my research.
Yeah, go there and look at them and see what you think. You can see the Apple Store probably has them. I don't know about Amazon, but you can see. So. All right. Well, we'll be back next week, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show, and we appreciate you. And
all right. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's Fire and Ice 17 FIREICE. I'm sorry. Excuse me. FIREANDICE 17.
What about your Twitter or your other thing?
It's Jason B. Like Jason_BBE_like.
Yes, and then you can find me at Off Limits Show. On all of those fucking things too, yes. And you can also find me on Facebook as well. So be sure to follow me. Thank you, guys. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. We love you. But good night.
Good night. Stay gay.